everyone, it's Jessica Michaels here. Today I am guest designing for Pear Blossom Press and super excited about doing this project today. So this is my first ever light up scrapbook page, and I've had these ideas for these lights for some time, so I was really super excited that Pear Blossom asked me to guest design for them. So I made a little whoopsie right off the bat here and ended up applying my background to my white background, and I should have left it off because I forgot that I had to leave those layers open for now so I could add my lights, but it's okay. I peel it back apart later. I started by using a beautiful background paper that has a starry night scene by Echo Park's Into the Wild collection, and I've got these stamp sets here that have jars on them and fireflies, so I'm using two different stamp sets today. One's by Stampin' Up and one is by Fawn, I believe, and I've got these little jar stamps and dies, so I'm going to be using that today and create like a firefly scene for my lights. So I have all these little fireflies that I'm stamping out. As you can see on my background itself, I've already went through and machine stitched some messy circles on my background, and then I'm just pulling out my manual die cutting machine here. I'm going to go ahead and cut out my little fireflies and my mason jars. I did end up stamping my mason jar on white and then again on a sheet of vellum paper as well, because I'm going to layer those little fireflies inside my jar and put the vellum piece on top so it looks like a nice clear jar. I have my little Copic marker here in one of the yellow shades, and I'm just coloring in their little light up butts for the lightning bugs or fireflies, and I'm going to layer these little guys all over my stitch circle. So I have some camping photos here. They are dark. They were taken at night, and my daughter had this cute little light up octopus that played music and just had all kinds of lights on it. So she had that in her stroller. She actually fell asleep while we were making s'mores at our campfire in our campsite. So that's what these photos are. We were roasting marshmallows in the left one over the fire, and then the right one is a picture of her in the stroller sleeping with her cute little light up octopus. And we were camping, so it's really dark there at this particular campground that we love in central Pennsylvania, and the fireflies were out and it was just beautiful. So that's really what inspired this layout, and I've had this idea in my brain for so long, so I am just so excited to get this out of my brain and onto paper today. So here's all my little fireflies fresh out of my die cutting machine, and I have my little mason jars as well, and I've pulled out some Abigail alphas by Doodlebug and also some Luna alphas as well. So there's my title. It's going to say Starry Nights and Fireflies, because that's what this was. This was a camping adventure for us. We were having so much fun. It was just a beautiful evening, a little chilly, but you know what? I'm not complaining. The fireflies were out and it was gorgeous. So it was a good night. So I'm just layering my little bugs inside my mason jar. I think I'm going to put like 4 or 5 in there, and one kind of looking like it's coming out of the open top, and then just filter them around the circle. But before I get too far into this, I wanted to add some white splatters to just make it look even more starry. So I'm focusing my white splatters on my circular design, and I'm just flicking some white acrylic paint on with a paintbrush that I've just watered down a little bit with some just water. So it's super easy if you want to add splatters to your layout. And now I'm just poking a hole in this jar for where I want that first light to go for my light up part. And I'm going to be using the Easy Lights today. It comes with a little light strand on it with 3 lights and a little battery pack with a press button. So super easy to use. You just poke holes where you want them to go. You can see I've poked a pretty good hole using my brad tool, and I just kind of poked it through my paper with my foam board under it and kind of twirled it around a little bit. My baby girl's coming in here messing with my paintbrush, so you'll see me move my cup in a moment. She's always in my room and just always willing to help me out with things. If you want to call it help, but she likes to craft in here with Mama, and we allow it because she's just super sweet. And she's actually the subject of the photo too. So It's all good. And I've got my little fireflies up here. I'm going to actually pop a few of these up with some foam squares, and I'm going to pop up definitely the ones that have the lights under them, just to give them a little pop up off the page. Here you can see I'm poking another hole. This is my second hole for my second light. I poke it in there, and then I kind of twirl it around to make it a little bit bigger, so that light really will shine through there. And then again, just using some 3D foam squares, the smallest size that I have, to pop up my little fireflies off the page that are going to be where those lights are, so those lights really shine. Now I'm just adhering the rest of my little bugs on here with some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and then I'm going to go ahead and flip this over here in a moment, and I'll show you how I strung all of those lights and how I anchor them down. Whoops, I lost one. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this little guy down so I don't lose them again. And I think I have a few left over, and I end up using them in the long run, and I use them on this page, but just in a different section. So I'm going to go ahead and get this flipped over and show you how I do the lights. So here's my light strands that I'm going to be using. You can see it's already pulled out on my desk here. I've got some 3D foam tape that I will be using, as well as those easy lights. And also in the end, I'm going to use a little stamp too that you can see laying on my desk right now for the little press button. So my little fireflies are already attached. I know where they're going to go. I just wanted to see where I want my little tag to go, because that's where I'm going to stamp on here my press here stamp, which comes in this really super handy little stamp set that has all of these little button designs and phrases on. So I'm using the press here one, and I just punched out a little die from one of my other die sets and made a little tag for the top of my jar, and then just stamped that press here with some black ink. So I've got that. I'm just going to make it look like it's tied around my jar. And I wanted to get this anchored down first, because then I will know exactly where I need to put my switch. So I have this on here. I'm just going to use a little bit of Nuvo glue to anchor that. I did use some 3D foam squares to put on the back of that little tab, just to pop it up off of my page. And then flipping over to the back, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my little switch here and my battery pack with some medium-sized glue dots. So that's what I found that worked really well and held that little battery pack on there so good, and it's not going to go anywhere. And then basically you've got 3 lights here, so I am just making sure they are right where my holes are. I kind of actually put the light a little bit through it so that they were exactly where I needed them to be. And then I just taped down all the wires with some clear Scotch tape. So super easy, and you can see there it works. The little switch is actually a little button at the very bottom of that battery pack. If you can see that little tiny round piece underneath that battery, that is the switch. So you'll want to make sure you're lining that up with your little press here button. And I kind of tampered with that for a little while before I figured out that that was the actual switch. I kept pushing the battery thinking that it was that, but it's not. It has its own little switch at the very bottom. So I am just going to continue embellishing this layout to just finish it up using this sticker sheet and a couple little miscellaneous items from my stash. And I thought that my little tag was missing something, so I went ahead and cut another one out of black, and I'm just going to adhere this over top my white so it looks like it's an actual little tag. And I just thought that brought it to life a little bit better than just plain white. So that's all I'm doing there, is I'm just tucking that in since I already had that thread around there. And I just, again, used my Nuvo glue to adhere that down. So I'm going to pop the links down below in the description for you for everything that I've used today. So if you want to grab anything from any of the shops, you'll have easy links down below to do so. If you're catching my video from the pearblossompress YouTube, make sure that you hop over to my YouTube as well if you want more inspiration directly from me. And you can also view a lot more inspiration on their channel too. So if you're catching this video on my YouTube, make sure you check them out, because they have so much inspiration over there with all of these really cool lights and different types of lights. They've got some candle lights that you can make a candle card and you actually blow out the light. It's so cool. So make sure you check out their channel if you're catching this from my YouTube, and vice versa. So again, I'm going to link below all the products that I'm using today. This sticker sheet here is from that Echo Park Into the Wild collection. It's actually been one of my favorites lately, and I'm really loving playing with this one. I'm just using some of these stars up from that sticker sheet and just layering these embellishments towards the bottom of my page, just kind of balancing everything out and filling in any empty space. And then I just wanted to add a couple more stars, so I'm just adding a couple in here by these lightning bugs. And I popped up that last little lightning bug that I had left over because I can't leave anything, you know, hanging out and left over. So I have to use everything up, right? So I've got that little guy there. I just cut that embellishment. It's a little map piece. I just cut it because I was only using a little portion of it anyways, and I'll use the other one on something else. And then just this little star. So this is what the finished layout looks like. I hope you guys enjoyed this process video today and enjoyed learning about how to use these beautiful lights on your scrapbook pages or on your cards. I'll link all the products down below that I've used today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for being here and have a great day. Bye-bye.